So how do you make 5 litres of delicious 11% ABV fruit tea wine? And here's everything you need. First you soak 20 fruit tea bags, I'm using red, for 20 minutes. I'm also soaking a black tea bag to add extra tannins to the wine. It's also necessary to sterilise absolutely everything. Here I'm just using a baby bottle sterilisation tablet. So next it's time to measure out our sugar. I'm measuring 850 grams here because I'm using 1 litre of grape juice later on. If you're not using grape juice, measure it to 1 kilogram and dissolve it well in boiling water. Set your sugar solution to one side and give all your implements a really good rinse at this point. After the 20 minutes are up, squeeze the tea bags dry and add the resulting juice into the fermenting vessel. It's also at this time that we add our sugar syrup, and it's probably best to use a funnel for this. And here I'm going for the option of adding 1 litre of red grape juice. Highly recommended. If doing so, remember to cut the sugar to 850 grams. And now I'm going to dissolve some pectines in some hot water. Then I'll add it to the fermenting vessel. The reason I'm doing this is to reduce pectin haze in the final wine. And I choose to use bentonite as a cleaning agent. So here I'm dissolving it in some hot water. I'll add it to the fermenting vessel, and that'll help us gain a crystal clear finish to our wine. And now let's add some cold water, leaving a little headspace in case of vigorous fermentation, and then we'll take a hydrometer reading. Somewhere about 1.09 will give us 11.5% ABV wine. And here I'll add our yeast and nutrient and give it a good stir. And now it's time to fit our sterilised airlock. Once we've done this, put the fermenting vessel in a warm place for 3 to 4 days. After the vigorous fermentation has finished, top up the demijohn right to the neck. That's the 5 litre mark. After about a couple of weeks, it's time to take a gravity reading. If you don't have a hydrometer, don't worry. Just wait until the bubbling has stopped. But it'll be about 2 to 3 weeks. And we're looking at a gravity of 0.992-ish, give or take 2 to 4 points, just to indicate that fermentation has finished. And once we're sure the fermentation has finished, it's time to siphon, or rack as we call it, into a new, clean, sterilised demijohn, and this is to help the clearing process. And when we are racking our wine, make sure you leave as much sediment behind as possible in your first demijohn. To do this, it's best to tilt your demijohn. To help preserve our wine, I'm going to crush and add a Camden tablet with some hot water. And as I say, this just helps preserve the wine while it's bulk conditioning. And this next part is completely optional. I'm going to add some potassium sorbate, sometimes called wine finisher. And all this does is make sure that re-fermentation doesn't take part later on in the process, which is particularly useful if I'm going to sweeten my wine with sugar. But if you like your wine dry, there's no need for this. And now I'm going to give it a shake, just to stir in the potassium sorbate and the Camden tablet. Now whack on an airlock and set it aside for at least a month to mature, but the longer the better. And after that month or two, it's time to bottle your crystal clear wine. Now this is a different carboy, but you get the idea. Now you can just siphon straight into bottles, but I prefer to siphon it into a bottling bucket or a bottling carboy. But that's because I tend to like to sweeten my wine. And when sweetening, just make up a simple sugar syrup with boiling water to make sure everything's sterile. Add it to your bottling bucket, give it a little taste. If it's not sweet enough, then go through this process again. And then once you've got it right, then it's time to bottle. But sweetening or not, now it's time to siphon with an auto siphon as I've got here, or just a normal tube into your bottles. And after a quick chill, if you can stand the wait, it's cheers time. And thanks for watching.